Welcome to Flourishing Flame, from burning out to burning bright with therapist and coach Leah Brown. Are you a people helper or caregiver, feeling overwhelmed, distant, cynical, and crispy around the edges? Join me to defeat burnout by learning how to manage stress and create deep connective relationships with others so that you can pursue your calling, providing light and warmth to those around you. Hello, I'm Leah Brown, and welcome to the Flourishing Flame podcast. This summer, I did something I've never done before. I took my Dobsonian telescope. It's a 10-inch, so it's one of those gigantic-looking ones. It's almost as tall as I am, and it's 10 inches in diameter. And I set it up with the help of my husband and a friend, Paul, because we were on vacation in Pennsylvania, and in the mountains, it's a lot darker where we were, and so I wanted to be able to see more than what I could see at home. And so we set it up and we waited for the right time so that we could see Saturn. It was so incredible. I can't even explain it to you in words the way that I want to. Like, on one hand, do you remember those slide projectors that I think they were Fisher Price, and you push the button and it would advance and you're looking through the little viewer and you see an image? In one way, it was kind of like that. But in the other, it was amazing because Saturn is 746 million miles away. And to be able to have the ability to look into the night sky with this added magnifier and to see something that far away is incredible. On the other end of things, I helped with a biology class at our homeschool co-op, and we were looking at cells under a microscope. We're looking at things that we cannot see with our naked eye under a microscope and seeing parts and even able to see things moving. I mean, it was just incredible. And just like how we can use these devices to see things that are far away and bring them closer, or things that are so tiny and make them larger. The holidays, especially Christmas, have a way of magnifying or intensifying what's already going on in our lives. The good, the bad, and the ugly. When we think about those good things, it kind of reminds us of the wonder of Christmas as a child, right? You can't wait until Christmas comes. You watch the movies, you sing the songs, you eat the candy canes. And you have Christmas plays or pageants or Nutcracker or all of these things that just make it such a wonderful and exciting time. You get to be with people that you love. Even if you're not with them in person, you get to call them. And then you get older and it takes on a different type of a feel to it. You think more about who you're with than what you're getting. And you spend more time thinking about what you're giving other people than making your own list. And then you have kids and you watch the wonder of Christmas through their eyes. And now I'm so excited that our family is having an early Christmas celebration. And I'm so excited I get to spend it with my 2 granddaughters. It's so fun to be able to be Gigi and watch it through their eyes and get to build gingerbread houses and be able to go shopping knowing that they're going to open it up and be able to see their excitement. The other things that are good are being able to come home for Christmas and see family, being able to celebrate Christmas with a new baby in the house, or a new spouse, or a new sense of freedom. Those are all things that can be good at Christmas. Being able to focus on the year that has been, being able to be grateful for the people in your life, being able to enjoy the sweet moments that are going on, and to be able to celebrate with other people, like we talked about in the last episode. There's also a sense that the holidays magnify or intensify the bad. I have a friend at church who has a baby that is having surgery. Please be in prayer for baby Truett. And then I have friends that have lost loved ones. In fact, this year, I lost a friend that I developed a close relationship with as she was battling emphysema, and will miss her and German Christmas cookies and those sweet memories that I have with her. And I have a friend who lost a mother this year. It has a way of taking these things that are painful and magnifying them, intensifying them, because we feel the loss even more when we have this season of family and friendship and sweet memories that we remember because of the music that we listen to. I was listening to just a random playlist and heard a song that I listened to at my mom's house when I was a little girl. And I was grateful to be able to send her a text and say, "Hey, I'm listening to this song and I'm thinking about you." And then she sent me a little while later a text of my son, who's in Navy boot camp's favorite candy at Christmas. He loves peppermint bark. And so this is going to be my first Christmas without having him home. And so it has a way of taking these things that are bad, or maybe they're only sad, right? Maybe it's not bad, but it's sad. And it just magnifies them. And then it also magnifies the ugly. It magnifies those places where there is conflict in relationships, when there are family members that won't talk to each other, when there's been a divorce in the family. And whether it's the kids that are dealing with the divorce or the parents that are dealing with the divorce, there's just all of these levels. And the divorce could have happened decades ago, but it still brings up a level of missing something. It brings up a level of lack. And so all of these things are part of what comes up in the holiday season. And so I wanted to give you just a couple of encouragements as you're going through this magnifier, this intensifier that the holiday season, especially Christmas, tends to be. What are some things that you can do for yourself and for others? Because we all need a little bit of encouragement on perspective right now. And actually getting ready for this episode caused me to contact people that I hadn't talked to in a while and be able to reach out to them. So if you are enjoying the good and you're with people who are enjoying the good, cherish it, treasure it. You don't know when the next time you'll have time with that person, or be able to enjoy the sweetness of the things that are going on with the relationships and the music and the food and the fun. We don't know how long that all will last. And so it needs to be treasured and cherished in the moment. Being able to take the time to slow down and spend some time reading a story, listening to a book. Maybe it's just sitting in front of the fireplace or going for a walk with a loved one who's in from out of town. Taking that opportunity is wonderful. And then, how do you handle the bad? Well, when it comes to looking at the bad, it's looking at it for yourself and it's looking at it for others. So when you look at it for yourself, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to miss the family member that you miss. It's okay to take time for yourself to mourn those things that need to be mourned. And it's a good thing to be able to share that with someone who can support you. Because often there are people that want to support you and just don't know how. So I just want to reach out to someone and be able to talk about the loved one that I've lost. I want to be able to share the ways that I'm dealing with the memories that are going on for me right now and just share them with someone. So I'm sharing the experience because, like we talked about in the last episode, friendship multiplies our joys and divides our griefs. And so when we can reach out to someone, we're allowing them to be a part of it with us. And maybe you're not dealing with something sad this year, but you know someone else who is dealing with a bad or sad experience this Christmas season. Letting them know that you remember the one that they've lost is a wonderful thing to be able to do. Even if it's a text message to say, "Hey, I just want to let you know I was thinking about you." And whatever the experience was that was hard for them, whether it was this year or 10 years ago, being able to send them that note to let them know that they're not forgotten and their situation is not forgotten. If it's someone that you are close to, being able to reach out and say, "How are you doing?" And being willing to sit and listen, or maybe just sit and be quiet, letting that person know that you're there to support them in the loss or the illness that they're dealing with. Or it could just be a disappointment. Being able to be that support is so vital. And then when it comes to the ugly, these are things that we really don't want to have to deal with often, but they're so important to walk through with wisdom and grace. Being able to be a peacemaker in the midst of it, to not contribute to the drama, to be able to be a sounding board when necessary. I think this is the hardest of the three. It's hard to know how to interact with others when they're in the middle of any type of a messy family or friend conflict. I mean, it can be divorce, it can be arguments on child rearing, politics and philosophy, all the things that can kind of come out when you have family that might not all think the same way. Being able to, for yourself, evaluate, make the decision ahead of time, right? It's like, I think I've referred to this before, but if you grew up in the 80s, just say no to drugs, right? If you can make the decision ahead of time when you're in the situation, the decision is already made. So thinking about it, how is it that you want to be supportive of those that you love, even when they're not in agreement with each other? What is the best fit for you? Thinking about it in advance, it makes a big difference so that when you're in that situation, you don't feel as lost. You might have to deviate from exactly what you wanted to do, but having a starting point makes that so much easier. Being able to kind of practice, what is it that you want to say? How is it that you want to portray yourself or portray the situation? Are significant helps in being able to know what to do and how to do it. And if you have a close friend or a spouse or a loved one who can help you kind of walk through that and role play or brainstorm with you, that's of benefit too. So as we're going through this Christmas season, we just realize that it's a magnifier, it's an intensifier for the things that are already going on in our lives. And just like we can look at the magnification of a microscope and looking at something so small that we can't see it with our naked eye, or being able to look through a telescope at something that's hundreds of millions of miles away, we can be in this place of walking through all of this with grace and with joy in the midst of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be with me and to be able to receive encouragement. Until next time, take care. Thank you for joining me today. If this episode added kindling to your flame, please leave a review and pass it on to a friend who could use some encouragement. You can connect with me and find additional resources at leahlittlebrown.com. Now go forth and burn in all your brilliance.